Okay, so lately I've been flying the 787 and I've got this Autopilot switch panel from Logitech, but only the right hand side here has been working on the 787, so that's the auto throttle switch, the flaps and the pitch trim. This the left hand part of it with the Autopilot controls hasn't worked at all, so I was just accepting that didn't work in the 787. Works in all the other planes, and I'll demonstrate that with a save flight that I've got here. We'll load a flight just so it's consistent, and we'll do YMML to YPPH, so that's Melbourne, Australia to Perth, Australia. And what I'll do is I'll go to the takeoff airport here, and I'll zoom into details. And normally what I do is I fly from cold and dark. So I'll say I want to start here, gate 27, and so it doesn't alter the flight, I'll go in here, gate 27, which is a heavy, so it's got that now, and I'll fly that. Okay, go and kick the flight off. Here we go, we're cold and dark inside the plane. Start. Now on the switch panel here, I'll turn on this on switch. Now that's a key thing, because when I flick that, the autopilot should turn on as well, but it doesn't. So I'll turn all those on. I could go through the procedure of starting everything, but rest assured it doesn't work. If I do a Control E over here on my keyboard just to shortcut everything, to start the engines up, and unplug my headphones, so it's all starting to run up. Control E, you can hear everything starting up now, but again this doesn't work, the autopilot. Let's go back and start the flight again. This time we'll make a minor change. Okay, we're back at the main menu. We'll go back into our flight planner, and we will load the same flight. Now normally I start cold and dark, so I do what I just did on the previous example, but I was in a hurry the other day, and so I didn't change it. I accidentally just hit fly. Okay, so now we're at Melbourne again. We hit ready to go, and we'll notice that this has come to life, which gave me quite a shock, because as I said, I've flown the 787 quite a bit and thought that this panel doesn't work in here on this plane, but it does work, and you'll see all the controls there work. The altitude changes. If I move across, you can see it's probably see it, maybe it's changing the altitude. It works for V speed, it works for indicated airspeed, so that'll operate the auto throttle speed up there, which is just here, so it'll do that. Heading, it'll change, and the course alteration. So the actual autopilot module works fine with it, and so does all this section as well. So it's only on this one plane that it does that. You see here, if you have main power off or on, it actually works. It turns everything on and off if you start it at the runway. But if you start at the gate cold and dark, there's no way to get this activated. I've tried every trick in the book. Oh, and while I'm at it, I'll report one other thing. When you're flying, I have found, if you load it in and you fly the entire flight, I found two things that make the logging stop with the 787. I've found that if you have the auto throttle on and you turn it off, and then you move the throttles at all, then you can turn auto throttle back on, but it no longer works. From where you were in your flight path when that happens, it no longer records. So you might fly for another 3 hours, land perfectly, go to the gate, shut down, and would have terminated the flight somewhere in the vicinity of where you actually finished. That's with the 787. With other planes as well as the 787, I've noticed that if you press the escape key and go back to this menu because you want to change something with your controls or any of the other options, if you're in the middle of a flight when you do that, it stops there. You can go back into the flight. Oops. Go back to the flight, but if you were in the air when you did that, it will end the flight at that point. So I've flown flights where I've had to make an adjustment of the controls for something. I've been in the air for 20 minutes. I do that. It's a 4-hour flight. I get to the end. I'm only credited for the 20 minutes. Hope that helps everybody. Just some things I've noticed. Thanks.